be Fred VanVleet, goes back to the Raptors. Actually, a pretty good deal as well. I thought he would get a bit more in the open market. Who knows if he took a pay cut to stay with the Raptors? He gets about, I believe, just over 20 million a year. Again, over 4 years with a player option after the third. Obviously, huge for the Raptors. Saves them a point guard, especially with Lowry getting older. Where does this put them, do you think, with Ibaka and Gasol? Do you think both of them are gone now? Do you think one of them? Do you think both of them are coming back? And I mean, obviously, long term, we know what it does for the Raptors in terms of the roster. But I guess short term, what do you think it does for them first?
Yeah, so I think it's a great deal for them short term. I think it shows that they can actually afford to bring back Ibaka, potentially even Gasol. I'm really surprised that he didn't get more. We all thought he was going to get more. It's a very team-friendly deal considering he's a starting guard on a 50-plus win team, starting lead guard. As much as Lowry is the leader on that team, VanVleet has been taking more and more responsibility every single year, every day, even every game. It was said about halfway through last year that whenever VanVleet was starting, because there was injuries to Powell, there was injuries to OG, there was injuries to just about everyone on the starting roster. And whenever all the players were coming back, the media was asking Nick Nurse, who's going to be starting now? Is VanVleet going to come off the bench? Because VanVleet was the super six that we had before he was leading our bench unit. And Nick Nurse said, no, it's not necessarily going to be VanVleet coming off the bench. Let's be honest, he is a starting player. He has some holes, he has some weaknesses, a little too short in playing shooting guard. Once Lowry kind of takes more of a step back from the team, you're going to assume that a starting point guard role will probably put up similar numbers to Lowry. He hasn't proven to be that clutch player that Lowry is. I know he's hit a couple of clutch threes before, but he's still not on the same level as someone like Kyle Lowry. But I think that he's very, very close to it. I don't think he'll ever really get better than Lowry in his prime. But if VanVleet can be a 20-7 a year guy for the rest of his contract, I think that $21 million a year that the Raptors are paying him is perfect. And it still opens up enough salary cap that they can bring in that Giannis, that Kawhi, that big name that they want to bring in next summer, with the salary that they have coming off the books this year, especially if Ibaka comes back on a 1-year contract.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, definitely puts him in good position there too. I don't think, like, FVB last year, I believe he had about 16-7. I think even if he stays around that, I think the contract is worth it. Still steal for them. Because I think what he does, like Lowry, is far beyond just what he puts up on the numbers too. He is a very hard-nosed guy. He is, like you said, like Lowry, he might not be at the level of what we know a clutch player can do in terms of play after play and actually being the guy primarily who's going to put up those points deep into the game. But he, like you said, he has shown that he can't hit those big threes. He takes some that you're like, why are you shooting that? It goes in, and oh my God, we have Steph Curry next thing you know. But then at the same time, he takes the same one and it's an air ball. And he does panic the same way Siakam panicked because obviously, again, there is that experience factor that again shows that Lowry obviously does give them that advantage down the stretch, likely to still be the starter long term. But there is definitely still, like last year, going to be a lot of small ball that's clearly going to be played for the Raptors. I don't think they get to bring back both Gasol and Ibaka because it just seems more and more likely Gasol is going to the Lakers. I don't think it's a far-fetched scenario to think Ibaka is coming back, though. Just because at this point, with everyone else kind of racking up their roster, I don't think there's many other options he's going to like. So I do think the Raptors are probably going to get to bring back Serge, and they're probably going to lose Gasol. Who they get to replace Gasol is obviously yet to be seen. But I still do think this is probably going to put them in a situation where they're still a 50-win team.
Yeah, it keeps their culture intact, right? It makes it so that they're definitely, I believe, they're going to be a 50-win team for sure. And yeah, I hope Gasol comes back. I know you keep saying the Lakers. I hope that's not true. There's a great possibility at that. I think he's a great fit culturally on that team as well. But they do have the veterans there in place already, a system in place that if they do lose Gasol, they're still going to keep that culture in there. They have the mindset that they are a top team every year. They go into the year knowing that they're going to win 50, 55 games. They showed it last year. if they had the most games lost by injury to their starting lineup out of any other team in the whole league. They were able to still be a 50-win team whenever people thought, oh, are they even going to be a playoff team? Are they going to have to trade away Lowry? Are they going to trade away their whole team, Ibaka? They pretty much said to themselves that, no, we're still going to be that winning team. We believe in ourselves. Nick Nurse is now considered one of the best coaches in the league. Siakam, we all think he can still even get better than what he is, even though he already is an all-star at the very least. He might not be that superstar yet that we need him to be, but he is already an all-star. But this really does show up. They care about their players. They want to retain the players that they brought in. I think that's why they're also going to bring Ibaka back. They traded away Terrence Ross, someone that the whole franchise was very high about for him, and a first-round pick. And I think he's shown that he's proven to be that guy on the team that fits in so well with his shooting, with his defensive play. I think he's for sure coming back as well, and that team's still definitely going to win 50 games next year for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, just how they also seem to be so good at developing prospects. I mean, you mentioned already a couple of days ago, Terrence Davis definitely puts them in a difficult position. However, I don't think it's going to hurt them in the long term because they are typically able to draft very well, and they typically are able to develop guys pretty slowly, bring them on when they're very ready. I mean, FEV was an undrafted guy. And I mean, as much as I was high on him going into the draft, the fact that he was completely undrafted and just came onto the team and he is what he is now, they obviously have good scouts. They know what they're doing long term. They have a very good G League system year after year. And I think the Raptors probably, even if they lose Gasol, they'll honestly probably just feel internally, whether it is with an experienced guy. Maybe they bring someone in who just is a veteran, doesn't play much, but they're honestly probably just going to groom someone they already have to just play probably 12, 15 minutes down the Probably not Boucher because you probably need someone a bit bigger. I don't know off the top of my head if they have the center to fill the void, but I do think at some point they're probably just going to fill that void internally just by developing a younger guy.
Do you remember where we drafted Terrence Davis last year?
Where was Terrence Davis drafted? Was it first or second round?
He was not drafted. Another undrafted guard that came out and made the all-rookie second team.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that speaks for itself there too. The Raptors, at the end of the day, they're primarily running it back. Obviously not doing completely, having some small changes, but obviously Masai still knows what he's clearly doing. He knows what his vision is. Like you said, sets him up for next year as well to maybe bring someone in